3 hours, Daryl at his house, and we talked Speedway, and it was very enlightening and very entertaining. He's one of the rolling park survivors, as I like to call them. And I have a list of everybody that I could remember that raced at Rolling Park that is still contactable or still active. And where did you start?
67.
67. Yeah. So and still a car owner and still very, very active. And
Can I get you to hold it?
I'm sure that he'll run through his early history as well as some of the late stuff. He told me some very interesting stories about his partnership with John Crowhurst, driving sedans, and that was all very entertaining as well. I didn't realise that you were a manager at Goldsworthy Motors.
No, just a panel beater.
Just a panel beater at Goldsworthy Motors. I mean,
Used to do this guy's car.
and it sounds like every Speedway car in Adelaide went through Goldsworthy Motors at some stage.
We saw our share out there, believe me.
You did. Look, as I said, Daryl was very generous with his information when I was talking to him. Took me out into his garage, and it's just a double car garage, and he's been running sprint cars out of it for a very long time. But it's very impressive all along the back wall. Trophies, 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 trophies. And 60 feature wins, is that correct?
Yeah, it'll be a bit over that now, yeah, so we're going okay.
Going okay. And I think there's a lot of guys that race sprint cars would have liked to have won 60 features. So I'll hand it over to you, and you want questions through it, or if you've got a question, hand up, ask the question.
Can I get a step about 2 metres forward? Because I can't see in the corner because of the outgoing now.
Oh, okay.
Darker.
So we'll just run the scan photos.
Thank you very much for that.
No worries. Victor.
Well, I guess I started as a 13-year-old, my first trip with the Speedway. It was a Saturday morning. I'd go down to survey with Dad. It was petrol day. Bumped into a guy washing a solo motorbike. His name was Kai Forsberg. He was a Steve Howland, the Queensland Speedcar champion. He got killed right in front of us. That was the opening night for me, but it's something that you never forget. But from there on, I mean, to me the solos were great. All the test matches and so on between the internationals, you saw the very best of solos, in as much as every probably world champion that came through, you saw them. Both Fundens and Ollie Olsons and Ivan Majors and Crumpy, and it just went on and on. You saw the very cream of world speedway there. I was a panel beater at J.W. Taylor's, that's where I did my apprenticeship, and my leading hand was Bob Moon. He was a sidecar passenger. He's the father of Gary Moon, the Australian sidecar champion. And anyway, I got to know a lot of the sidecar blokes through Mooney, and that was good. Some nights I'd race me FJ at Riley Park, and we'd all kind of jump in someone's car and head off to the Sydney Showgrounds or Brooklyn Speedway, something like that. And, I mean, one memorable night we went to the Sydney Showgrounds, and of course we were kind of tied up with the Taylors at the time, the Taylor team, Dean Taylor and Kevin Taylor, and you kind of didn't let anyone know that you were a South Australian that night, because they crashed the hell out of everyone over there. They both ended up in hospital with broken legs, and the rumour was they were going to get throttled the next day in hospital. So Dean actually booked himself out and got in the back of his GT Falcon and got home the very next day. But yeah, they were wild times, and just to listen to Bob Moon with some of the stories that he used to tell. We went to Brooklyn a couple of times when he was riding passenger for Bill Mitchell. All that was really good memories. Myself, I started off with an FJ Holden. That was a funny deal. I mean, I went through high school with Kelvin Green, and the deal was I'll buy one if you buy one. So we both built a car each, and I guess I still kind of crack up thinking about it. It was a Saturday, it was our first practice. I was first car out on the track. Kelvin was alongside me, and old Dixie gave us the flag to roll off for our roll around lap. I look across at Kelvin, I mean I'm done up, looking identical to Mario Andretti, but wearing glasses. And Greenie, he's in his green jacket overalls, his safety boots, and he's got his welding goggles. We go to take off, and he flips the bloody shield down. They were oxy welding goggles in their shoes. I mean, I nearly popped the clutch laughing, you know. But anyway, that was good. I mean, the car I built only lasted a couple of nights, and believe it or not, my brother, he bought a ticket in the RDA raffle, and they had an FJ Holden that they were raffling off. Of course, he won it, and well, the problem was he was only a kid in short pants, under 16, so they weren't going to let him even. They were going to redraw it, so I got pinched the raffle ticket, didn't I? So I got a free car out of that. From there, I went from an FJ to an EH, and then from there I kind of teamed up with Crowe. He wanted to build his Monaro, and he said, how about you drive my HR? Basically I leased the car off him, and we shared the prize money, and it worked well, because believe it or not, back in those days you were if you're going to right, you were pulling good prize money, and Crowe was making a wage out of the car I was driving really, so we were both doing alright. We had the teams racing at the time, which is, you know, like we're in the Blair Russell team, and you had Johnny Garland and Tony Orlando and that, and the Coca-Cola team, and holy shit, those nights, they were pretty wild and woolly. You know, Crowe had it worked out, but if you're not out in front, I'll get you out in front, and we'll win it by hell or high water. And believe it or not, it wasn't until I was at John Crowe's funeral that I found out that he never ever was going to get banned for his driving style or anything. Kimber Knifin had a deal with him and the stewards, fine him as much as you want, the fines will get paid, but I want the bad guy on the track. So it was a surprise to me, you know, because I did scratch my head at times as to how Crowe got away with some of his moves. But he was certainly a crowd favourite, and let's face it, Kimber Knifin knew how to promote and how to get the crowd on side. I thoroughly enjoyed those days, and from there I kind of bought a house, so I had to step aside for a while, and Joe Locke gave me a drive in his Tirana, XU1 Tirana. That went real good. It was probably, I think, the first 6-cylinder Holden with a roller cam in it that Brian Bennett put together for us. That was a really good car. Joe ended up selling that, and I had a deal with Tony Parkinson. He was a road racer, and he said, how about you build me a sports sedan? I was working at Goldsworthy Motors at the time. He said, how about you build me a sports sedan, and I'll sponsor you with a dirt car, a Speedway car. So we bought 3 Tiranas and made 2 out of the 3. And he was paying all the bills on the dirt car, and in actual fact, I think I won 9 features in the first season of that, and that car actually supported his road racing car. And the funny part was, Tony did try the motor out of the dirt car one meeting. He reckons this was better than the Malala road race motor. So what we'd do is we'd run Friday night and go home. He'd have practiced on Friday at Malala, and we'd swap motors. He'd pull the motor out of the dirt car and put it in the bitumen car, and he'd race that at Malala Saturday and Sunday then. That was a hell of a mess around back in those days. The following year, Tony wanted to sell the car, so I ended up leasing it off of him. And I thought, how the hell am I going to do this? And I ended up going to the track with $128 in the race account, because it ended up working out alright. We won some races and basically the car paid for itself. End of the season, split the money 3 ways, and I rebuilt the car. It was all ready to go, and Tony sold that off. And from there, I think, kind of sat the season out, so to speak. I drove a car for Peter Collins a couple of times. Daryl Hurd, he had a Mustang, I drove that a couple of nights, and helped Russell Carlin a bit with his car. But I mean, that was a lot of fun. And then I kind of was getting towards the end of Riley Park, and Tony Orlando suggested giving Alfie Camillo a ring, and rang Alfie up and saw him at his butcher shop, and struck a deal there where I could drive his Speedcar. And we ran 4 nights, the last 4 nights of the second to last season of Rowley, and then the full last season of Rowley. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. We won the B grade point score and so on. Alfie wanted to build a new car and we'd go to Speedway City, but kind of got shits on with Alfie a little bit because he wouldn't run the car on the last night at Riley Park, believe it or not. He said, oh, it's no prize money, we'll get the car dirty. No, not doing it. And I thought, hang on, you know, like, it's the last night at Riley Park. But anyway, we went off to Speedway City then, and Stevie Stewart, he was going to drive the Rowies Speedcar, and I was always hoping I would have got a ride in that, but he didn't speak up enough, I guess, so Stevie didn't really want to drive it. And you know, I thought, oh, put in a good word for me, will you, Steve? But he never did, and he ended up doing a deal with me for him to drive the Speedcar, and I drove his Monaro. That worked out good because he won the Speedcar state title and I won the sedan state title, so we were pretty happy about that. From there, I ended up buying that car off of Steve. We did 1 season in that, and then I kind of got the bug. I thought, always loved the midgets. I mean, you know, like, I would like to have actually got a midget then, but it was almost the era where you didn't know which way the midgets were going to go. And having, in the early days, as a kid, you know, quite honestly, I saw every American Speedcar driver that ever came to Australia. Everyone that raced at Rowley, went to Liverpool, saw AJ Foyt, Mel Kenyon, Gary Patterson, all on bitumen at Liverpool. Best race I'd ever seen in my life, by far. They're memories you never ever forget. But then I thought, what do I do? And well, I thought, bugger it, take the plunge, bought a Sprintcar. I pulled the quick change out of the Monaro, put a 9-inch in that. I bought a Stanton Sprintcar from Bob Asen in Sydney, minus the rear end. First time he'd ever sold a car that way. Someone comes in and try to take it minus the rear end, you know, check on my check out there. But that's what we did. We bought that one back. Drove that for 2 seasons, and believe it or not, no power steering, so that was hard work. And from there I ended up selling that and getting an OTR, John Sydney racing car. I think we bought 2 of those in the end. The first one was a low bar, and the next one was next Dumpsney high bar. And then from there we progressed on. We bought a Maxim from Western Australia. I'd only ever buy chassis, you know, just never buy a roller or anything like that, just put everything together. Probably harken back to the Stanton days, the first sprint car. I kind of laugh at, well, we've got Matt Eagle driving our car now and that, and he talks about the bits you buy off the shelf and everything. I used to scratch my head and I thought, Jesus Matt, like, we used to make our own steering arms and things like that, you know, like everything's just, you just ring up and it's there, isn't it, you know, pick it up off the shelf. But back in those days, the early days there, I'd make all my own wings at work, you know, the guys would try and have a sleep at lunchtime and I'd be making wings and be getting told to shut up. But it'd just be, it was non-stop, the maintenance side of them and that. And that even continues through to nowadays. The maintenance you put into the cars now, it's just ongoing and non-stop really. I mean, you know, what we do with our car, we'll pull the drive line out every 4 weeks and just check the drive line and stuff like that. With our rear end, we do 10 shows and then pull the rear end apart and go through that. Same with the steering box. Of course, your engine maintenance, you know, it's a wing and prayer with those. You're obviously doing your regular maintenance, you know, you do oil changes, 2 shows, filter and so on, and you're doing your rockers every show.
Do you lease your motors?
Sorry?
Do you lease your motors, Daryl, or do you just have your own motor?
We've actually got 2 motors, and we own our motors, yeah. Probably 2 years ago, it's the first time that we've had a South Care motor. But yeah, I mean, it's hard work. We did do an engine change at Murray Bridge one night when we had Doug Murcott driving for us. There was a state title up there, and we heard a motor in hot laps being our first heat. And I'm like, hell, what are we going to do? So I knew that Bill Barrows had a motor in Ben Sutherland's truck, so I said to Bill, can we lease that for the night? So we ended up swapping motors and ended up winning the state title up there, so it kind of was worthwhile. Only other time we've had to swap motors at the track was another night down at Bordertown. We did an engine change and that worked pretty good because in and out in 20 minutes and didn't miss our heat race. So, but you know, you kind of pray you don't have to do that. But nowadays you kind of, on those road trips, you know, the Easter Trail or the Speedway or something like the Classic, you'll take a spare chassis with you. And well, the first time we had an American driver, which was Paul McMahon. We rocked up at Avalon for the President's Cup, and he said, my God, this is a brand new car. He said, you put a brand new car together for me, or a brand new chassis together for me for a 4-night show. I said, well, whilst you're an outlaw driver, you know, we thought you'd kind of expect that. What did we do? We trashed it in the feature. So we go back to, when we go racing in Victoria, I stay at James McFadden's dad's place, and we work out of his shop. So we did an all-nighter there and put another car together. Went to Mount Gambier the next night and ran okay, and then we went to the feature at the Classic the following night, and Paul set a second quick time there for the Classic, which is out of 109 cars, so we're pretty happy with that. Anyway, he was very good to work with, you know, like you hear all these stories about these hard to get on with American outlaw drivers and that, but he was very easygoing and thankless at the end of the deal, and keep my number, I'd love to come back again and all that jazz. The following year we got Terry McCall to drive the car for us. Terry was very good too. He, so funny really, he said, I get real cranky if things don't go right. I cuss and swear and carry on, but don't worry about it. I'll calm down at the end of the night. And I don't know, something went wrong, he spun and got taken out of his first heat, and he came in and he was a tad cranky there, didn't want to be interviewed or anything like that. But anyway, we got him back going again, and funnily enough, he's second quick time too, just quick time by Nats and Nuts. So it made you feel good that you can, a team of our size can actually run with those big guns like that. Anyway, Terry was very good to work with. He even brought some sponsorship with him, and once again we've remained friends there, you know, we keep in contact and everything. And basically, you know, it was all guns blazing with guys like that. But myself with the Sprintcars, I thoroughly enjoyed that. I mean, I started in '82 and go however many years in the Sprintcars there, and I was pretty lucky really. I mean, I won 16 features in Sprintcars and 16 in the sedans, and as anyone would know, you know, you've got to be proud of that really. I mean, it's hard to win a feature full stop, isn't it? So with Dave Murcott, he won 20-something features in our car. Brad Keller, he's won a feature for us. Matt Eagles won 9 features, I think, for us. So yeah, we've been pretty happy with what we've done over the years. Try to look back on it and you think to yourself, bloody lot of work, bloody lot of money, but what do you do? I mean, you know, you've done it all your life, so it's what you enjoy, isn't it? I look around at the faces here and I think, we're all mugs, aren't we, really? So we're all still doing it somehow.
Daryl, what sort of costs are involved in running the season in the sprint car?
Glad you're sitting down. It's probably sounds crazy, but how we do it, we average it over the season, and really you average out your engine bills, your rebuilds and so on, your crash factor, and nowadays you're paying $430 for a right rear tyre, for 10 for a left rear, and really we average it out that it basically costs $4 grand a night to run. And like it's bloody hard. I listen to your treasures report there, you don't want to sponsor a sprint car, do you?
It's been fairly hard getting our account where it is.
Yeah. But, no, I mean, I get on very good with Dave McFadden and James McFadden. They kind of say that to do World Series, they budget for $5 grand a night. And you can see that with travel and accommodation and just your fuel costs and so on. Dennis was talking to me earlier in the night saying about tyre wear. Our last 410 meeting at Murray Bridge, we went through 4 brand new rear tyres and 2 used tyres for the night. You know, I mean, it's starting to get scary. I mean, I went up there last Saturday night, it was a 360 show. They burnt tyres in the first heat, but then the rest of the night they're quite easy on tyres. The tyres from their feature, you'd be able to use them the following meeting in a heat race, for example. But then you start looking at, say, Speedway coming on. We've got to use an American racer right rear. That's the stipulated tyre, and that's going to be $445. for a right rear tyre. I'm thinking, holy hell, you know, like that time of the year, summertime, your tracks are getting slick and burning them off pretty good, so you've got to budget that factor in too. So it does get very hard all round, and you almost get embarrassed talking to non-racing people about the cost factor, and they all look at you as though you are nuts, and how do you argue that?
What's the comparison between American racers and enthusiasts?
The American racer actually, Terry McCall put us onto that when he came out for the Classic. He said, can we run the American racer to qualify? Because they just come on a bit quicker than a Hoosier. But they also, you have a bit of a heat build up in them, and they seem to blister a lot more quickly than a Hoosier does. And to be quite honest, you can groove and side them any which way, and it really does not make much difference. You know, you set your bleeders and everything, you might set them a little bit higher and all that, just to try and take a little bit of heat out of them, a bit of sidewall movement out, but nothing seems to make much difference. But I will say that the American racer, they do kind of blister and burn down more quickly than a Hoosier. But they're a little bit, prior to this year, they have been a tad cheaper. But it all balances out with the wear factor, doesn't it?
You mentioned the bitumen tracks at Liverpool. What's the difference in setup and riding style on bitumen against a flat track dirt?
You just set them up more stiffly. They also run the cars more low, a lot lower. And the whole fact of the matter is, like, obviously using different tyres, you're not, you're using slick tyres against your groove tyres. If you notice, they have real big offset axles back then, really. But everyone just has to keep the car straight as. That's the fastest way around, it's just be as smooth as possible. I mean, actually, when I was running the sedans, we even ran at Adelaide International on the half mile there, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed that, but of course that died a very quick death too, really.
That died a natural death because it was a bank track that had come down to a flat track on the oval.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, a bit of a change there.
It was a hard track to set up for because, like you say, you'd go into turn one and you have the banking, but when you come off the bowl, it'd have a reverse camber. It was a lot of fun though. I thoroughly enjoyed that, but it didn't last long enough, did it?
No, they were saying there was too much tyre wear out there.
It was, yeah.
Ted Bowlander in the midget, he said never again. He said it's too costly.
That's right.
And tyres were getting shredded.
Your open wheel cars, if you crashed up there, I mean, a few of them did, and they were just about throwaways then, weren't they? So that was the bad side of it. But I mean, a couple of times that we did kind of venture over just to watch the bitumen at Liverpool. It was bloody awesome, really good.
But Liverpool was banked or flat?
Oh, that was banked, yeah.
Banked, yeah. Give up the ball there.
Well, it was very tight racing, like the sedans and all that were all very good to watch around there because they were specifically built for that track and that, but they were very tidy cars and everything, but it was good racing. It's one of the funniest things I ever saw was a guy from Adelaide here, Wally Turner. He bought Gordon Smee's two-door Monaro. It was one of the top sedans over there at the time, and anyway, Wally brought it out to Adelaide International there, and he's going to have a practice on a Saturday. And he said, "Oh, come out, Daryl, I'll give you a drive." And Bob Hanson was there and all that. We're all putting our name out in for a drive. And poor old Wally, he was first cab off the rank, and he was that nervous you would not believe. he put his helmet on. I looked at my brother looked at me, and we cracked up. Who put a full face helmet on backwards? Nearly ripped his nose off, taken it off. Holy shit, you know.
I thought he was going blind or something.
Oh, you know, his arms would go. Yeah, absolutely. I lost it, so I didn't get that drive, did I? Shouldn't laugh at the car owner.
I drove the Formula Ford at Adelaide International, and we're going down the straight, that was on the long circuit, and the bloody helmet kept on coming off my head with the vortex of the car
Yes.
going over the hat, and the hat just was going, I was sitting there,
Yep.
but the bloody helmet was starting to lift up.
Yeah.
Most annoying. There were more things to worry about.
Matt Eagle that drives our car, he drove at Knoxville not last year, the year before, and he said that was one of the things that he noticed. He said you'd go down the straight, and he said you'd go for a tear off, and he said you'd have trouble finding your tear off.
Yeah.
Just the air pressure there. Yeah, it's you look at the different tracks like that. I mean, you know, like in our case, I guess we're old school too, because we actually like running our car on the slick tracks. They might be hard on tyres and that, but it's a lot more fun than the heavy tracks, you know, where it's just hammer down and follow the leader. I still think that the slick tracks brings the driver element into it so much more. You watch a good driver that can really pedal his car properly. He's so good to watch on a slick track, you know, instead of someone that's a gas man, no names mentioned, but some of them are just gas men and just still got their foot on the floor, haven't they? But and you'll see the good drivers come at the front there. Yes, I did like the number of your car, and that's where my number came from.
But you've always kept on looking at this. But you came through the early times where we used to have to start fastest to the rear.
Yep.
And it was always very exciting to watch and exciting to drive. Now they're all starting from the front. What's your point?
It's something that, yeah, I mean, we do it now that, you know, you have your heat race, and if you do quick time, you'll have a front race start and then a back race start in your heats. And you hold your breath when your driver's starting off the back, obviously, because he's got to pass car and make some points in that. But yes, you're right. Everyone kind of said the way the tracks have changed now, it's just too hard coming from the back. And the Gary Rushes and guys like that, they started bitching about it. So no, it's too hard starting from the back. You know, you've got to reward the guy that's going to the front and is one of the faster guys in that. But as a spectator value, yes, Peter, you're right. I mean, watch him coming from the back. I mean, look at the old days at Rolling Park with, shall we say, the sidecar race, the solo races with their handicap races and that. You watch your John Bolges and your Laurie Hodgsons coming from the rear. I mean, holy hell, it was hold your breath for 4 or 5 laps, wasn't it?
And also, Kim Nathan, I didn't know this till later, but he actually paid drivers and riders to, each car you passed, you got paid for if you started at the back.
Yep.
Which, you know, like, so really, I'm thinking about rushing now, complaining. If he's good enough to start at the back, if you gave him $1,000 for each car he passed, he'd probably want to do it.
I'll tell you, one year I was still driving, and I was at the pay window after the Classic. Rushy had won the Classic, I mean, back then it was 20 odd grand to win or something, and he was in front of me at the pay window. They'd just given him his 20 grand in cash. He was bitching like you would not believe, because one of his mechanics, they hadn't given him a pit pass to one of his mechanics. He had an extra mechanic. I mean, it was $8 or something, you know, but he was tight as. I mean, back in the Speedway City days and so on, I know for a fact that he was getting $3 grand appearance money So all his expenses were covered without hitting the track.
And if he had his midget on the back as well, he got another $1,000.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, fuel was supplied, motor was supplied. Yeah, it was,
With the starting from the rear, it wasn't uncommon at Riley Park to be somewhere between 20 and 25 cars on the track, and then 20 lap a race, you had to pass more than one car a lap to take a podium.
well, I mean, you can look at Bill Wixler and Suddenly. I mean, how spectacular was that, watching Suddenly come from the rear, you know, I mean, that crowd hanging off the fence, wouldn't it? Yeah, they were the good days, but there was track conditions to suit, is the way I kind of see that. You just can't do it with the clay tracks now. I mean, you know, like, for example, I still class in the Sprintcars the biggest race of the year is the Classic. And some nights there when the track is just so hammered down, you'll see good guys, they'll be right up on the wall, and they'll go up on the wall because no one else is up there. They'll be kind of running their own line, and they'll be running guys down only because it's a clear track. But you know, others are all doing the same speed, and it's follow the leader, isn't it?
Getting back to the real old days when you first started on that Saturday, and I was there that day. I saw your FJ, and I saw Greeny come out on that Saturday afternoon. And then you'd see those cars because they were supposed to be dead stock standard, weren't they?
Yeah.
Is that the rule?
Yep.
And then after about a month or so of this happening, one would come around and you think, I'm sure that's got a different candle light. So what sort of little cheating things were done in the standard saloon days?
Jones. Quite honestly, I thought that things started getting dodgy when the X2s were coming on the scene and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, our cars were always, and it did have them checked and so on, but I saw a little bit of dodgy stuff going on with some of the scrutineering when you have to pull the head off and so on. So yeah, it did grind on you a bit.
I worked at Holmes for many, many years, and I worked in an area next to me where all the change notices come through, and I had a fair knowledge of what was standard or whatever. And for instance, the hell drivers came out, and there was a special notice came out that they would soften the gears in the gearbox for the hell drivers to be able to give them hiding what they were, and they said, well, so many $1,000 if you can find anything wrong with them.
Really?
I didn't know it was my job either.
No. Yeah, that was a bit of a funny part when I first started at got out of the crash repair trade and went to Exeter. I'd taken the diffs in there out of the sedans and so on, and we'd be pouring lead in them to lock them up and so on. Just the stuff you'd do, you know, it was hilarious really when you think the different things that you would do back in those days, but it worked, didn't it?
Well, you had to be innovative because you couldn't afford a checkbook.
No.
And if it wasn't in the defence, you're pretty hard pressed to
That's right,
do it. So you made everything. And the innovation of people like Zeke and that, they were leaders in the field.
That's right, yeah. I'm a very good friend of John Cooley that makes the Sprintcar chassis here, and to go over and spend time with him, you know, as to the work and effort that he puts into the Sprintcar chassis and so on, it is good. And I mean, we've crashed a couple of nights on the World Series, Speedway and so on, and spent some more nights at his place repairing our car and that, and just the way, I'm a paddle boot by trade, but the way he goes about repairing the chassis, he's very clever, and it's kind of good to stand back and help and give him a hand, but just watch his methods in doing it. Of course, you know, being chrome ollie, you don't put a torch on them. Everything's just a push and a twist and a shove and so on. He'll straighten them, and then at the last minute, if it doesn't look right, that is when he'll replace a bit of tubing. And you know, if possible, he'll kind of just rework everything so that he hadn't disturbed it. But in saying that, it's very scary as to watching a sprint car chassis as to how far you can push it and pull it to straighten it. Yeah.
What's the main difference with the chrome molly versus the old steel tubing that we used to make our cars out of if we didn't have enough money to buy it?
Its tensile strength is just so good, and its lasting qualities are so good.
Yeah, it doesn't rust, does it? That's because of the
Not
nickel.
really, no.
Yeah.
No, it's, I mean, you know, the early days in the sedans, I mean, we had a lot of fun racing against the likes of Colin Buckland and so on, and he was going to whack me over the head with a tyre iron one night with a police escort out of Rowley Park, and, you know, and that was all caused by, he crashed into the back of Stevie Stewart one night, and I don't know whether you remember Steve's XU1 Tirana, but it always looked like a bumblebee, and arse end used to hang down, and Colin Buckland whacked him in the back there one night and did all that damage, and I was looking at Buckland's car, and it was GT Falcon, and a beautiful built car, and he said, "You show me a spot on this car that can bend." I said, "Oh, just the roof." From there on, I was his arch enemy, wasn't I? Whenever we'd be on the track, he'd just go gunning for you, but he ended up getting a 12-month holiday for his rough driving and that, but they're just some of the things you look back on, aren't they?
I had a conversation with Ray Skipper many years ago.
too.
Several on the track, I believe. And I said, you know,
Robbie Collins is back up.
I said, you know, the nickname the Mad Coachman. I said, "You were pretty rough." I said, "What was it all about?" And he said, "Well, do the maths." He said, "There was 20 cars, so many laps." He said, "You had to pass 1 or 2 cars a lap." And he said, "So I'd give them a tap when I got to them. If they didn't get out of the way, I'd bury them." And now I know that they were being paid for each car they passed. So
yeah.
that would
I
make
never
sense.
ever got it. I missed out on it.
You missed out on it.
You got me cheap.
You didn't put your hand up, did you?
He probably said, "Peter doesn't know about it, don't tell him."
Yeah, that's right.
I've only got X amount of money to pay out.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, you looked at the money that the likes of Peter Maltby and Rex Hodgson and guys like that were picking up in the midgets. It was good money. I mean, that was a wage for them. And I mean, one of my favourite midget drivers was Bruce Rickard, and I still remember the goes that he and Gordon Benny used to have. I mean, that was one of the reasons Gordon went to Sydney, wasn't it? Trying to put Bruce into the fence on the main straight, or back straight there one night, and that was all over, so he packed his bag and went to Sydney.
Look,
I've bored you enough, come on.
we'll let you off the hook, all right? Would you consider coming back at another time?
Haven't I poured myself out or what?
Well, we could pick some specific subjects for you with the sedans and things. You know, would you consider that?
Yeah,
We show appreciation.